Today, we're going to dive into a story about how one single click, an action we do 100 times a day without even thinking, can literally bring an entire company to its knees. It's a wild story of how our own trust can be turned into a weapon, and yeah, it all kicks off with just one single email.
I mean, this headline really says it all, doesn't it? And look, this isn't just some dramatic clickbait. It's a terrifyingly accurate summary of what went down. This story isn't about some super genius hacker blasting through digital walls like in the movies. No, it's about something way more subtle and, frankly, way scarier. It's about weaponizing a simple, everyday act of trust. So, where does a catastrophe like this even begin? You might think it starts with sirens blaring or some big dramatic security alert, but nope. It starts in the most ordinary way imaginable. Just another typical workday. And that's what's so unnerving about this whole thing. Picture it. It's a Tuesday morning. You can hear keyboards clicking and the coffee machine humming in the background. People are just settling in, getting through their morning routine, completely unaware that their entire company is hanging by a thread. And that thread is about to be cut by a single click.
And then, right in the middle of all that normalcy, it happened. The one tiny action that would trigger an absolute avalanche of disaster. So here's where it gets really clever and, honestly, pretty sinister. This email wasn't some sloppy, misspelled message with a bunch of red flags. No way. This thing was a masterpiece. It had the official company logo, the right corporate fonts, and a sender address that looked almost identical to the real IT department. It was a perfect fake, designed for one purpose, to look so normal that you'd never think twice.
And the process itself, deceptively simple. The email makes you feel a sense of urgency. You've got to act now. The link looks totally legit. The login page it takes you to, a perfect copy. And then the real genius of the trap. A simple little session timed out error. It's something we've all seen a million times, right? A minor annoyance you just brush off. But in this case, that little error message was the perfect cover for the digital equivalent of a bank heist.
And that right there, that's the chilling part. The attack was a complete success because the target had no idea anything had even happened. For the employee, it was a fleeting moment of frustration. He just shrugged, maybe tried logging in again, and then got on with his day. For the company, though, that shrug marked the beginning of the end.
Okay, so now let's pull back the curtain and switch our view to the other side. The hacker is in. But this wasn't some chaotic smash and grab job. Oh no, this was a slow, calculated, and incredibly patient infiltration. Just look at this timeline. It really shows you the true danger here. The hacker moved like a ghost inside their network. For weeks, they did nothing but watch. They were learning the digital layout, figuring out where the really valuable stuff was kept. They blended in perfectly, mimicking the normal, everyday activity of other employees, which made them completely invisible to all the automated security systems.
The difference between what the company saw and what was actually happening is it's breathtaking. On one side, you have the security team looking at their dashboard seeing all green lights. Business as usual, data is secure. But on the other side, the reality is that all the doors are wide open, and a silent thief is just methodically draining the company of everything valuable it has.
And it's really important to get this. This wasn't just some random spam email sent to a million people. This was a sophisticated, tailored attack called spear phishing. The attacker had done their homework. They researched the company, they researched the employee, they probably even knew the internal lingo, all so they could craft an email so convincing it was practically impossible to spot as a fake.
So for weeks, this silent heist just continued, completely undetected. But an illusion like that, an illusion of total security, can't last forever. The first tiny cracks in the facade were just about to show up.
So the first warning signs didn't come from some high-tech alarm system. They came from the customer service department. Just a few scattered calls. Hey, I saw a weird login on my account from another country. At first, they were just written off as user error or isolated issues. But then, a few tickets turned into a dozen. And then 100. And a terrifying pattern started to become very, very clear.
By the time the security team finally figured out what was going on and traced it back to that one email, the damage was already done. And it was catastrophic. We're talking millions of customer records, names, addresses, private financial info, all stolen. The scale of the breach was just unimaginable. The fallout was immediate and absolutely brutal. The company's stock price didn't just dip, it cratered. Lawsuits, of course, started pouring in from angry customers. Government regulators swooped in to launch their own painful investigations. In just a matter of days, decades of public trust were just gone. The company's reputation was in ruins, and its very survival was suddenly on the table.
So when the dust finally started to settle, everyone was asking the same question. How on earth did this happen? And the answer, it turns out, has a lot less to do with fancy technology and a lot more to do with plain old human nature.
And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the lesson. This company had all the expensive, state-of-the-art security gear you could buy. Firewalls, antivirus, intrusion detection systems, you name it. But all of it was worthless, because the attacker didn't go after the machines. They went after a person. They exploited the one vulnerability that no software can ever patch, our instinct to trust.
This quote from the internal report after the breach is it's chilling because it sums up the new reality we live in. We think of hackers as these shadowy figures breaking down digital doors, but the real threat today is so much more subtle. It looks like a password reset link. It looks like an urgent request from your boss. It looks like just another email in a very busy inbox.
And that's the tough reality we're left with, isn't it? This entire corporate disaster, all of it, started with one person clicking on one link in one email. Right now, as we speak, a nearly identical email could be sitting in your inbox or your coworker's inbox. And the only defense, the only thing standing between a normal day and a total catastrophe is that one moment of hesitation, that one little question, wait a second, does this seem right? The real question is, will we ask it before it's too late?